If you clicked on today's video, it's because you want to know how I went from this to this in just a short 12 weeks. I'm not going to hold anything back. I'll walk you through every single step of my transformation. We'll cover my nutrition, training, cardio, steps, and mentality, and show you how to keep yourself motivated through this transformation journey. So stick around to the end of the video where I lay it all out for you in a step-by-step format that you can screenshot and start implementing yourself today. No fluff, just the methods that work. So let's get into it. So why do most people fail when it comes to transforming their body? Well, before we dive into the nitty-gritty, let's talk about why transformations like this seem impossible to most people. A lot of people think it requires extreme diets, hours in the gym, or even a secret supplement. The truth, it doesn't have to be that complicated. And after coaching nearly 1,000 people in the past decade, I've realized that simplicity is key. So people fail because they overcomplicate things or follow methods that aren't sustainable. And transformation success comes down to two things: consistency and adjustments. Stick to the basics, make tweaks when needed, and you'll be shocked at what you can achieve. So let's get into nutrition, the foundation of any transformation. And when it comes to fat loss, absolutely correct that nutrition is the most important thing. Without a solid nutrition plan, even the best training program in the world will not save you. So step one is going to be simplifying your diet. You've probably heard about diets like keto, intermittent fasting, carnivore, and here's the thing, these are just branded ways to create a calorie deficit. Yes, they can work, but only because they get you eating fewer calories. But instead of jumping into a complicated diet, let's focus on something that works for everyone. And what you need to do is start by tracking your food intake. If you're not already doing this, I recommend you use a calorie tracking app. You could use MyFitnessPal. And remember, it's not about being obsessive. It's just about learning what's in your food. And something you might not know is that studies have shown that people who don't track their food eat on average 20 to 40% more food than they actually think they are. So by tracking your meals for even a week, you'll gain really good insights into where your extra calories are coming from. Now, I like to live by the 80-20 rule with my diet and with my clients too. Now, I'm not about to tell you to cut out all of your favorite foods. That'd be crazy. The secret to sticking to a diet is balance. So follow the 80-20 rule. 80% of your daily intake needs to come from whole foods that are nutritious and very satiating and nutrient dense. The remaining 20% needs to come from foods that you would consider fun, like pizza, chocolate, or anything like that. Allowing these treats into your diet will definitely prevent binging and keep you more consistent in the long run. So here's a tip you might not know, that protein is your best friend when it comes to dieting. It's the most satiating macronutrient out there, so it will keep you full, it'll make your physique look better, and not only does it preserve muscle during a fat loss diet, it also boosts metabolism too. So eating more protein is only a good thing. You want to stay fuller for longer. Aim for at least 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Now let's get into how to calculate your starting calories. To figure out how many calories you need to start by calculating your maintenance calories with a TDEE calculator. Now we've got two options for this. You can either use the calorie calculator that I put in the description below. If you do choose to use that, whatever number you get from that calculator, I want you to subtract 500 calories from that, and that is your starting point for this diet. For those of you who prefer a more manual method, I want you to weigh yourself daily for a whole week whilst tracking every single bit of food that you eat. If your weight stays nice and consistent, which it should if you don't change anything with your diet, that means you've found your maintenance level. Again, drop 500 calories from this number to find your fat loss starting point. So as you can see, figuring out your fat loss starting point is actually pretty easy using them two methods. Don't overcomplicate it, but at the same time, what I don't want anybody to do is push above 500 calories. If you start pulling 1,000 calories out of your diet, you will struggle, you'll likely fail, you'll be starving, you might binge. It's a whole host of negativity. So stick with 500 and I promise it'll work. Now, let's get into creating a bigger deficit, not from dropping food, and that is with our output, so cardio and steps. Most people think they need endless amounts of cardio to lose fat, and that's absolutely not true. The purpose of cardio is simply just to help you increase your calorie burn throughout the week without drastically lowering your food intake. I'm always a fan of eating as much food as possible while still making progress. Cardio on top of your diet just helps with this. What I want you to do is start with 1 to 2 hours of moderate intensity cardio every week, and I think you should break this into 30-minute sessions and increase gradually as needed. Now, a lot of you might be asking why moderate intensity and why low intensity over high intensity, and many studies have shown that low intensity is actually better for fat loss than high intensity. The beauty of high intensity is that it's just very time efficient. However, it will damage your recovery when it comes to weight training, and that's not what we want to do. We want to make sure we're burning as many calories as we can, recovering well and training hard in the gym. Which leads me nicely into the next section of this transformation, and that that is weight training. And weight training is where transformations are truly made. It helps you to preserve muscle mass, boost metabolism, and shape your physique. And the key is progressive overload, which simply put is just consistently challenge your muscles every single session to gain a positive response. Most people underlook training, or they're always on the search for the perfect training plan. What I'd recommend is no matter what training plan you use, just push as hard as you possibly can and make sure that you're leaving the session feeling proud of yourself and knowing that you couldn't have given it any more. So you're now probably thinking, Connor, what training plan should I use if this is the case? I need some help. This is why I'm watching this video. Well, here it is. I'm going to give you a structure for every single style based on how many days you can train per week. So let's start off with somebody who can only train 2 days per week. If this is you, you're going to split these 2 days into 2 full body workouts. I want you to split the volume of training equally between muscle groups on these full body sessions. For example, your chest will get 3 sets, your shoulder will get 3 sets, back 3 sets, and so on. Split them into 2 sessions and make sure that you do have at least 1 to 2 rest days in between these sessions. If you're someone who can train 3 days per week, you're going to do full body sessions again. And like I said, making sure that you have a rest day in between. If you have 3 days and you're splitting into full bodies, maybe you can consider putting more emphasis into certain days. So day 1 is full body with more chest volume emphasis. Day 2 is full body with more legs volume emphasis. And day 3 is more back focused emphasis, right? This way you can have a little bit more targeting and reap more benefit. If you're someone who can train for 4 days per week, then you have the perfect split in my opinion, and that is an upper lower training split. Session 1, upper body with chest focused, for example. Tuesday will be lower body, focusing on your quads. You'll have a rest day, then you'll go into your second upper body session for the week where you'd focus on back a little bit more, and then you'd move into legs again where you'd have hamstring focus. From there, you can rest and repeat. If you're someone who is the ultimate gym bro training 5 days per week, then I do recommend you train with an upper body, lower body rest, push, pull, legs split. In my opinion, this is absolutely the best style of training and one that I would absolutely recommend only if you train 5 days per week. So depending on how many days you have, give these a go. I guarantee you will not go wrong. And because I'm feeling nice, and if you watched my videos before, I do like to leave you guys with a lot of value. So if you're someone who can train 3 days per week, I've put a 3-day training plan in the description below. It's an easy download. Put your name and email in and it'll attach you to the link for the program. Make sure you create a copy and then you have your own. This training program is absolutely awesome. I promise it'll work. It's free, so download it. So a surprising fact with your training, you do not have to change your training very often. I've seen training programs pushed for as long as 6 to 12 months without changes because somebody is just progressing and progressing every week. So don't rush. Try not to get bored. And if an exercise does stall, then make sure that it stalls for at least 3 weeks before you change that exercise. But if it's progressing, be patient and stick with it. Now, into the adjustment strategy, the most important part to having longevity with your transformation. And here's where most people go wrong. They panic when progression stalls. But fat loss isn't linear and plateaus are part of the process. So what's the solution? We need to make small, strategic adjustments. The first adjustment you can make is to your calories. And this is where we drop our calories by 100 to 200 per day when our progression has stalled for more than 2 weeks. Realistically, if your weight hasn't dropped for 1 to 2 weeks, definitely make this change to your calories. Again, don't go above this number. The idea is that it's manageable, maintainable progress. 100 to 200 is perfect. Stick with it. Secondly, we can increase our steps. Don't go crazy with this. Add 1 to 2,000 steps per day, and that will absolutely be enough to see progression continue. And then lastly, we can make adjustments to our cardio. Simply increase by 15 to 20 minutes per session. But what I would say is over time, make sure that you do max out at 4 to 5 hours. Do not do more than this. I'm not saying you have to do 4 to 5 hours, but do not do more. You can easily rotate these adjustments to keep your progress steady without burning out. And finally, let's talk about mindset. There's studies out there showing that people who visualize their goals are 1.5 times more likely to achieve them. Crazy, sounds airy-fairy, but it does seem to work. So take 5 minutes every day just to picture yourself achieving the goals and getting through all the hardship of the diet. Write down your why. Why are you dieting? Why do you want to transform your body? And when you're feeling a little low or like you're losing track, come back to it, read it, and get that feeling of motivation back. And another mindset trick for me is just celebrating small wins. I've worked with too many people who seem to want too much too quick, and it really affects the progress. But what I recommend you do is for every pound you lose, that is a huge win. It's all a step in the right direction. So these victories add up and are all part of the bigger picture. So be proud of what you are doing every week. So guys, if you follow this strategy, tracking calories, adjusting cardio and steps and with food, and sticking to your training plan, I guarantee that you'll achieve an incredible transformation. Remember, the key isn't perfection, it's persistence. So let me know in the comments below how you're planning to start your transformation, and I will see you all in the next video.